every minute of every day. As your community electric cooperative, it's not just our way of doing business, it's our way of life. And as a Touchstone Energy Cooperative member, that means value that goes far beyond the energy we provide. Value you can't really put a price on. Touchstone Energy Cooperatives, your source for power and information.
I'm Dennis Herman, the General Manager of Highline Electric Association in northeastern Colorado. We're here today in Julesburg, Colorado at the Wagon Wheel Conoco to commission our new free-wire DC fast charger.
This station was installed 180 miles from the Denver metro area, which is a strategic spot because we're a good 50-mile distance from the next one up the road, and we're working to fill that 50-mile gap.
The fast charger is located right along I-76, right inside the state of Colorado. So cars and trucks will be able to stop along here and gather electricity so they can move on towards the Front Range.
This is one of the first of its kind in the state of Colorado, utilizing this integrated battery technology without having three-phase distribution lines.
This fast charger is unique because it utilizes a 20 kW single-phase source to charge a 160 kilowatt-hour battery. It then draws on those batteries to do the EV charging. Pretty much any electric vehicle on the road today can achieve about an 80% charge in a 30 to 45-minute time frame.
Highline Electric is very proud to be here today to commission this electric fast charger. It's something we've been looking forward to. We'll be able to provide a very good service for our customers.
This project was made possible through the financial contributions of Tri-State, Highline, and the Colorado Energy Office. We'd also like to thank our project partner Wagon Wheel Conoco in Julesburg, Colorado for hosting our charger. The installation of infrastructure like this charger will help to alleviate that range anxiety and help in the adoption of electric vehicles going forward.
Vegetation management is very important. Vegetation management is keeping danger trees and any trees that can grow up into the lines under control. And it's quite the effort.
This is the Burrow Bridge Sunshine 115 kV line. It's just outside of the town of Ophir, which would be just a little south of Telluride.
The transmission line has to have a maintained right-of-way. And what that means is a clearing. In this instance, we like to go out 100 feet in total width. That's from the center line 50 feet, the center line 50 feet. It's super important that we have that from a wildfire perspective and keeping the lines clear 24 hours a day and 7 days a week.
We don't want anything growing into our line. So our ground patrols and aerial patrol, we do that every year. And as we go through our lines, we can see what trees are going to pose an issue.
We have laser rangefinders so we can measure exactly what the distance is, and we could cut the trees, but we can't remove them without special permission. And that's really what this project was getting with the Forest Service, and they understood the value in removing the vegetation, especially with some of the aspens. The vast majority of these really large aspens have some kind of disease or defect in them that needs to be addressed.
When we find a stretch of line that is out of our scope of work, contractors come in, they can read the trees and they have the tools necessary. They can bring in the helicopters to get it all out so that they can also clean up the right-of-way as they go.
This is a beautiful place and we don't want to damage it. So doing a project like this will eliminate as much of the risk we have to damaging the environment.
At Tri-State, we have everyone's best interest in our hearts. In this case, from a planning aspect, we had traffic plans for log trucks and things in place to make sure that we're respectful of the small community. So to see this project finally come together, it's just great.
To help build a better world. It's time to stop thinking about the future and get ready for today. It's time to bring the lightning. By now, we've all heard a lot of talk, a lot of promises.
1, 2, 3.
A lot of lengthy descriptions about what electric is.
4, 5.
We think it's time to see what it can do. It's time for electric.
Highline Electric Associates is excited to announce the addition of the all-new electric Ford F-150 Lightning to our fleet. We want to give our members an opportunity to drive and experience the new F-150 Lightning. Just give our Holyoke office a call at 970-854-2236 to secure your spot. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is Tad Hoosier from Highline Electric, and I want to make sure you're aware of our homepage on our website at HEA.coop. What pops up right away is this friendly reminder that we do have a mobile app that you can get on your Android device or your Apple device. You manage all of your payments and see a lot of cool data right from the convenience of your handheld device. We also allow you to enroll in our auto payment program, and you can click here in that middle of the screen here, or you can go under member services to the auto pay bank draft form, and that'll whisk you off to a DocuSign form where if you have your Highline account numbers and the names on those accounts, you can sign up right there. If you'd like to pay with your credit card, please call us at 854-2236 and ask for Joni, and we will get you set up with a credit card auto payment as well. Thank you.
As we head outside this summer, understanding how electricity works can keep you safe. Before trimming trees and shrubs, watch out for power lines that could be hidden by foliage and contact your local electric utility for proper removal. Never fly kites or drones near power lines. If a kite gets tangled with overhead lines, report it to your utility. And remember to treat all downed electric lines with caution and respect. If you ever see a downed power line, call 911 immediately and don't go near it. This safety message is brought to you by Tri-State and your local electric cooperative or public power district.
Hi, I'm Jack Wilkie from Otis, Colorado, and I went to the Colorado Youth Leadership Camp.
Hi everyone, my name is Amaya Kuntz, and I attended the Youth Tour Camp in Steamboat.
I'm Monty Cook. Highline Electric sponsored me to go on their cooperative youth leadership camp.
At the camp, I learned about electricity and what different jobs are available in the electrical field, from being a lineman all the way to being a nuclear engineer. I also enjoyed meeting new people, which was probably my favorite part. I was able to meet a lot of new people from 4 different states and make lifelong friends. I also learned what it means to be a leader and leadership skills through the different people that came in and talked to us about how to be a leader and what being a leader means and why it's important to be a leader in our community.
I really enjoyed this camp. I don't normally go to events like these because I'm such a shy person. But I learned many things at this camp. I learned how to not be so shy. I learned many new skills to help with my leadership in the future. But most of all, I made many new friends. I would have to say my favorite part of this camp would have been the volleyball tournament. My team actually won, which was surprising.
We were able to go on some tours and had a lot of different presentations given to us. There were some that I really liked, like the high voltage safety demo. We saw what electricity can do to a person without protective equipment, and also the different parts. And Yampa Valley, they gave us a solar presentation, and that was neat. We saw how it was tied into the grid. They also had different activities planned for us, like a beach volleyball tournament, which was that was a lot of fun. But the rafting trip, that was definitely by far my favorite. We ended up just spending the whole time boarding other people's rafts and throwing them overboard. The trip, it definitely got me out of my shadow. I met a lot of new kids, developed pretty good leadership skills, and it just overall made me a better people person. I'd like to thank you guys for the opportunity. And I also got to see a lot on how cooperative companies work. Thank you guys.
But I would just like to say thank you again for choosing me to go.
I'm grateful for the opportunity to go to the camp. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nevada Mitchell. I attended the 2022 Youth Tour DC trip, and I want to thank you so much for the experience that you granted to me. I learned more than I can even really explain in words. I met some really good lifelong friends that I connected with when I got back to Colorado. They actually came over and we had a little get together, and it was awesome. It's cool that I can make those bonds even though I was across the country. That trip gave me more independence than I had been used to, and now sitting here in my college dorm, that's impacting me more than ever. The biggest thing that I learned from your trip is that I can make a difference. No matter how small I think I am, standing there on those Capitol steps, I can make a difference. Thank you so much for allowing me to represent you guys on our 2022 Youth Tour DC trip.
Not everyone starts their day at the same time, or in the same way. But no matter when or how, your local Touchstone Energy Cooperative is there to help you power every moment of it in countless ways. Because whenever it starts, one thing is certain: we never stop. Touchstone Energy Cooperatives, your source for power and information.
Being there every minute of every day. As your community electric cooperative, it's not just our way of doing business, it's our way of life. And as a Touchstone Energy Cooperative member, that means value that goes far beyond the energy we provide. Value you can't really put a price on. Touchstone Energy Cooperatives, your source for power and information.
I'm Dennis Herman, the General Manager of Highline Electric Association in northeastern Colorado. We're here today in Julesburg, Colorado at the Wagon Wheel Conoco to commission our new FreeWire DC fast charger.
This station was installed 180 miles from the Denver metro area, which is a strategic spot because we're a good 50-mile distance from the next one up the road, and we're working to fill that 50-mile gap.
The fast charger is located right along I-76, right inside the state of Colorado. So cars and trucks will be able to stop along here and gather electricity so they can move on towards the Front Range.
This is one of the first of its kind in the state of Colorado, utilizing this integrated battery technology without having three-phase distribution lines.
This fast charger is unique because it utilizes a 20 kW single-phase source to charge a 160 kilowatt-hour battery. It then draws on those batteries to do the EV charging. Pretty much any electric vehicle on the road today can achieve about an 80% charge in a 30 to 45-minute time frame.
Highline Electric is very proud to be here today to commission this electric fast charger. It's something we've been looking forward to. We'll be able to provide a very good service for our customers.
This project was made possible through the financial contributions of Tri-State, Highline, and the Colorado Energy Office. We'd also like to thank our project partner Wagon Wheel Conoco in Julesburg, Colorado for hosting our charger. The installation of infrastructure like this charger will help to alleviate that range anxiety and help in the adoption of electric vehicles going forward.
Vegetation management is very important. Vegetation management is keeping danger trees and any trees that can grow up into the lines under control. And it's quite the effort.
This is the Burrow Bridge Sunshine 115 kV line. It's just outside of the town of Ophir, which would be just a little south of Telluride.
The transmission line has to have a maintained right-of-way. And what that means is a clearing. In this instance, we like to go out 100 feet in total width. That's from the center line 50 feet, the center line 50 feet. It's super important that we have that from a wildfire perspective, and keeping the lines clear 24 hours a day and 7 days a week.
We don't want anything growing into our line. So our ground patrols and aerial patrol, we do that every year. And as we go through our lines, we can see what trees are gonna pose an issue.
We have laser rangefinders so we can measure exactly what the distance is, and we could cut the trees, but we can't remove them without special permission. And that's really what this project was getting with the Forest Service, and they understood the value in removing the vegetation, especially with some of the aspens. The vast majority of these really large aspens have some kind of disease or defect in them. that needs to be addressed.
When we find a stretch of line that is out of our scope of work, contractors come in, they can read the trees and they have the tools necessary. You know, they can bring in the helicopters to get it all out so that they can also clean up the right of way as they go.
This is a beautiful place and we don't want to damage it. So doing a project like this will eliminate as much of the risk we have to damaging the environment.
At Tri-State, we have everyone's best interest in our hearts. In this case, from a planning aspect, we had traffic plans for log trucks and things in place to make sure that we are respectful of the small community. So to see this project finally come together, it's just great.
To help.
Good evening, everyone. I call this the 85th annual meeting of Highline Electric Association to order. The first item of business is invocation with Pastor Al Smith, the First Baptist Church of Holyoke.
Let's pray. Father in heaven, we thank you, first of all, Lord, just for being the creator of all things. We give you the glory for all you've accomplished in this world. We thank you for sending your Son to die on the cross for our sins. We thank you, God, for your love for us. We now pray for each of the folks here that are part of this company, God, that you would give them just safety, especially for those who are out on the lines. And Father, we just pray for your protection over each one. God, we ask that you would continue to bless them as they pursue excellence in all that they do. We pray, Father, for the leaders of this company, God, that you would give them a heart of servant leadership, give them discernment and wisdom as they lead in the decisions they need to make. And we give you the glory for all things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Would you please stand and we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I want to thank you all for coming out tonight. I know a lot of the roads are less than normal, and hope you have a good evening. We have 175 plus people present, so we have a quorum. A quorum is 100. Next, Jim Lewick will do introductions of visitors and guests.
Thank you, Michael. Before we start, I don't know how many people in the room remember that we got an anniversary going yesterday and today. 48 years ago, we had our 1975 blizzard. So got a little bit better weather going today. I'm going to start with our guests. And if you would, please hold your applause. First, we got Laura Bittner, there she is, former employee. Nancy Burgess, former employee over here. Wayne Salyards, there he is, former employee. Elin Nelson, there you are. Steve Wagner, Vern Adams, Carol Bussell. There you go. We'll also have tonight Terry Hoffmeister, our County Commissioner. Tom Bennett, First Pioneer. There you go. Nothing to ref tonight, Tom. Brian Gales, Bank of Colorado President. Kurt Graham, CREA. Andy Molt, Member Services, YW Electric. Roger Shank, Director, YW Electric. Trent Lautensock, General Manager, YW. Former in Highline and currently a trader, or well. Evan Fuss, General Manager, CHS High Plains. Vince Kropp, General Manager, PC Telecom, clear back there. And Andrew Turk, Holyoke Enterprise. Okay, I want to introduce the Board of Directors. First, we got Leo Breckel. Leo represents District 1 and has been on the board 28 years. Leo represents Highline on the Tri-State Generation and Transmission Board. He represents Tri-State on the Basin Electric Board, Power Cooperative Board, and his wife Debbie. I'm Jim Lewick. I represent District 1. I've been on the board 29 years. I'm the Vice President of the board, and I represent Highline Electric on the Midwest Electric Consumers Board, Colorado Rural Electric Association Board, and I was previously served as President of CREA, my wife Peggy. Pam Steeb. Pam represents District 1, has been on the board for 6 years. Pam's the treasurer of the board, and her husband Jerome. Brad Stromberger. Brad represents District 1, has been on the board for 6 years, and his wife Jonna. Mike Bennett, there you go, represents District 2, has been on the board 22 years. Mike is president of the Highline Electric Board of Directors, and his wife Susan. Steve Osman. Steve represents District 2, has been on the board 18 years, and his wife Lori's with him tonight. Aaron Sprague. Aaron represents District 2, has been on the board 12 years. Aaron is also on the Republican River Water Conservation District Board, Conservation District Board, there you go. His wife Amber, not here. Ted Carter represents District 3, has been on the board 16 years. He represents Highline Electric on the Western United Electric Board of Directors, and his wife Patty. Dave Carlson. Dave represents District 3, has been on the board 1 year. His wife Billy. No show? Okay, sorry. Lisa Schilke, our newbie, represents District 4 and was recently appointed to the board. Her husband Tim. Merlin Pryor. Where'd Merlin go? Oh, up here. Represents District 4 and has been on the board 20 years. Merlin is secretary of the board and represents Highline Electric Association on the Nebraska Rural Electric Association Board, and his wife Janet. We got Levi Williamson. He's our board attorney for Highline Electric, and his wife Karen. And Dennis, you don't need any introductions, I don't think. What do you got? A couple. Oh, okay. Okay, good. Two more. We got Commissioner Tom Tim, Phillips County. Okay. And Dr. Burgess, Sedgwick. There you are. Good. I think that includes everything, and I appreciate you all coming tonight.
The annual meeting of the members of Highline Electric Association will be held at the Phillips County Event Center in Holyoke, Colorado at 6:30 p.m. on Tuesday, March 28, 2023, to transact the following business: the reports of officers, directors, and committees, election of directors, all other business which may come before the meeting or any adjournment thereof in connection with the election of directors scheduled for this meeting. The following members have been nominated for directors by petition pursuant to the bylaws scheduled for this meeting, and the members are nominated for directors by petition. For election of 2 directors from District 1 who must reside in Logan, Washington, Weld, or Morgan County in Colorado, Pam Steeb and Brad Stromberger are the incumbent directors and nominees. For the election of 1 director from District 2 who must reside in Phillips or Yuma County in Colorado, Aaron Sprague is the incumbent director nominee. The unapproved minutes of the 2022 annual meeting are posted on our website at www.HEA.coop. This notice is dated March 3rd, 2023, signed by Mike Bennett, President, and Merlin Pryor, Secretary. I also have the minutes of last year's meeting. I am prepared to read them if you want to wait on me, or I will entertain a motion. I didn't hear. We have a motion. Do we have a second to accept the minutes as presented? Okay. We will, all in favor, say aye. Anybody opposed? Motion approved. Minutes stand as presented.
Good evening. This year there are 3 vacancies on the Board of Directors, 2 vacancies in District 1, which is comprised of Logan, Weld, Washington, and Morgan County, and 1 vacancy in District 2, comprised of Phillips and Yuma County. Highline received petitions nominating 1 person for each vacancy. In District 1, incumbent directors Pam Steeb and Brad Stromberger were nominated, and in District 2, incumbent director Aaron Sprague was nominated. Because there are no contested elections, a voice vote is appropriate to elect these directors. Is there a motion to elect Pam Steeb, Brad Stromberger, and Aaron Sprague to the Board of Directors in their respective districts? There is a motion to elect Pam Steeb, Brad Stromberger, and Aaron Sprague to their respective districts. Is there a second? It has been moved and seconded to elect Pam Steeb, Brad Stromberger, and Aaron Sprague to the Board of Directors. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those members in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Pam, Brad, and Aaron are elected to the Board of Directors for their respective districts. Congratulations. I'll now turn the meeting over to President Bennett.
Thank you, Merlin and Levi. I would like to introduce, figure out the right, our general manager, and he would like to speak with you. He has a name, he's Dennis Herman.
Thank you, Mike. Good evening. I'd like to welcome you to Highline Electric Association's 85th annual meeting. To start with, I'd like to ask all current and retired Highline employees that are in attendance with us tonight to please stand. Please join me in thanking these dedicated men and women to their service to your cooperative. I would also like to take a moment to recognize and thank our employees' spouses and their families for their patience and understanding. It is greatly appreciated. I'd like to offer a special thanks to the employees that are working here tonight and the staff that coordinated this annual meeting, and I would like to thank Happy Jack's Barbecue for catering tonight's meal. I will be happy to answer questions at the conclusion of my report and ask that if you are joining us online that you submit your questions via the chat feature. To begin the manager's report, I'd like to introduce you to Highline's Chief Financial Officer, Jim Jackson, who will present the financial report.
Hello, I'm Jim Jackson, the Chief Financial Officer at Highline Electric Association. Thank you for attending this annual meeting and hope we provide you with information concerning your cooperative that you might find meaningful and helpful. Members who are watching online, you may post questions in the comments box of your streaming app. I would like to begin by talking about kilowatt hour purchases and sales. The cooperative purchased 529,533,000 kilowatt hours in 2022. The vast majority, 523,575,000 kilowatt hours, were from our power supplier, Tri-State Generation and Transmission. 2,279,000 kilowatt hours were purchased through a project in which electricity is generated by waste heat. 3,628,000 kilowatt hours were generated from a Highline Solar Generation subsidiary company. The total purchases were an increase of 65 million kilowatt hours compared to 2021. Highline sales and purchases of electricity are highly dependent on weather, which compared to 2021 was drier and hotter. The cooperative sold to you, the members, 449,775,000 kilowatt hours, an increase of 65 million from 2021. Irrigation accounted for the largest share at 59.1% of the total kilowatt hours sold. Large commercial followed with 23.1%, residential at 13.4%, and small commercial with 4.4%. Operating revenues for 2022 were $55,589,000, which is an increase of $4.4 million compared to 2021. The increase in revenue is mainly due to increased sales in the irrigation class due to weather being hotter than 2021. Take note of the red tips on two of these columns. The red amounts symbolize deferred revenue that was used in these years to help meet financial goals. Our major lender, Rural Utility Service, allows us to defer revenue in years which we may have exceptionally strong margins and recognize those in subsequent years. In years 2018 and 2019, we used $300,000 and $1 million, respectively, of deferred revenue. This slide shows operating revenues before and after adjustments for deferred revenue. Our operating margins for 2022 were $184,000 after the deferment of $2 million of revenue. Margins in the year 2021 were $283,000 with no adjustments for deferred revenue. Our operating margins in 2020 were $1,700,000 before the deferment of $1.7 million in revenue, making operating margins a negative, $926 after deferment of revenue. In 2019, we had a negative $1,934,000 of operating margins before the recognition of $1 million of deferred revenue, making operating margins a negative $934,000. In 2018, we had a negative $162,000 of operating margins and a positive $137,000 after the recognition of $300,000 of deferred revenue. In 2017, we had operating margins of $150,000. Deferring revenue and still having a negative margins in years 2019 and 2020, Highline was still able to meet all mortgage requirements. The most stringent of these requirements is O-tier, or operating times interest earned ratio. O-tier is a function of interest on long-term debt, operating margins, and cash received from Tri-State for capital credit retirements. Our mortgage requires that our O-tier, when averaged over 2 years, remains above a minimum level. Highline's operating margins are generated from the sale of electricity to the members. There are other non-operating margins that Highline receives from cooperatives in which we are members. Tri-State represents Highline's largest investment in other cooperatives. Highline's total margins for 2022 were $723,500. This is comprised of the Highline's generated operating margins of $184,000 and $326,000 that were generated by our membership in Tri-State, Western United, CoBank, and CFC, and $212,000 in interest and other non-operating income. Again, seeing the red tips of these bars is due to the treatment of deferred revenue, whether we recognize it or set it back. Dennis will talk more about this in a few minutes that will give you a better understanding of deferred revenue and why we use this accounting method. In 2022, the Board of Directors approved a capital credit retirement refund that included 100% of outstanding Highline capital credits from 2006, 100% of outstanding Tri-State capital credits from year 2001, for a total general retirement of $1.4 million. This slide shows our capital credit allocations and refunds since 1948. We have accrued capital credits over $113 million. We have refunded to estates $7 million, and again, our general refund in 2022 was $1.4 million. Refunds in prior years were $50.4 million, which included last year's retirement totals of $51.8 million, returned to our members since 1948. Your member capital credit balance is $54.3 million, of which $13.9 million is comprised of equity in Highline, and $40.4 million represents equity in Tri-State and other cooperatives. We are currently on a 15-year retirement cycle for Highline capital credits, and as Tri-State retires capital credits to Highline, we in return retire those amounts back to the membership. For year 2022, the cooperative ended with $11 million in cash and investments, an increase compared to 2021. This increase was mainly due to increased sales in the irrigation class. Likewise, with years 2017, 2018, and 2020, with larger cash and investment balances, these were due to loans being drawn while interest rates were favorable during those time periods. Highline continues to maintain a strong balance sheet. We ended 2022 with an equity level at 44.6%. Equity measures the extent that you as members have financed plant in lieu of borrowed capital. The cooperative has 5,173 miles of line, 10,988 meters, which averages a little over 2 meters per mile of line. The national average for cooperatives is 6 meters per mile of line. We are a rural system, a mature system, and a slow-growing system. These factors require rebuilding or replacing distribution plant as it reaches the end of its useful life. In a fast-growing system, much of the system plant is new. In a mature system like ours, we budget for upgrades and rebuilds to maintain reliable service to the members. Highline's utility plant ended the year valued at $118 million, which is a $3.5 million increase over last year. In the last 6 years, we have spent $13.4 million to maintain or rebuild your system plant to meet your needs. Although we didn't add to our total miles of line in 2022, we did do a lot of maintenance work. We installed or changed out 1,098 poles, 48,320 feet of overhead conductor, 10,360 feet of underground conductor, 136 overhead transformers, and 20 underground transformers. Now to note, these are items that you may be familiar with, but we did replace numerous other items such as insulators, anchors, arresters, and other smaller items so that energy we deliver remains reliable. With the amount and cost of poles, conductor, meters, and the maintenance work we do, one of our goals is to provide you, the member, with reliable power. As mentioned earlier, we have a mature system, and equipment failures are a portion of the outages, but most predominantly, it's weather-related. This shows the average amount of time for an outage that a member may experience during the period shown. For example, in year 2021, a member may have experienced outages throughout the year, which lasted in a total of 97.5 minutes, or roughly an hour and a half. As a comparison, for year 2021, the national average was 208 minutes of outages, so we are far below that average. Year 2022 shows that we had an average of 125 minutes, an increase over 2021. The national outage data hasn't been released yet, so we have no comparison to last year. But still, a huge thank you to the operations, engineering, and office crews for helping keep the outages to a minimum. The cost to maintain our plant and make sure electricity is available while also reliable, basically the cost of operating Highline, was 18% of our total expenses in 2022. Depreciation and interest were another 10%, and our cost of wholesale power was 72%. As you see, what happens at the generation and transmission level with Tri-State has a very large impact on your energy bill. A great point this chart demonstrates is a very slim portion of your energy bill goes towards operating and maintaining your cooperative. I would like to recognize Highline's safety achievements and the efforts by employees to make sure that we all go home safely at the end of our work shifts. Your linemen work in a dangerous environment daily, and this level of danger multiplies when working in adverse conditions. Your linemen's dedication, along with all Highline employees, to deliver reliable power and in restoring outages is a high level. But they also are very much aware of safety, and they look out for each other because not only do they want to go home to see their family, but they want their coworkers to be able to do the same. The last lost time accident was in year 2016. Last year, we were awarded a Safety Achievement Award and a Safety Accreditation Award from our National Safety Program, which recognizes our dedication to providing a safe work environment. In closing, I would like to say thank you for your time and thank you for being a member of Highline Electric Association. I hope the information provided shows your association is doing very well, is financially stable, and the work we do bringing to you, the member, reliable and affordable power, and we do it safely. Again, thank you, and welcome back, Dennis Herman.
Thank you, Jim. I'm going to spend the next few minutes, excuse me, reporting on a few Highline highlights from last year. I'll also highlight a few points that Leo covered in his written Tri-State report and discuss them from the perspective of their impact on Highline. I'll wrap up with my thoughts on Highline's current financial state and what I see happening with our rates over the next few years. The last year has seen a number of changes at Highline. As a borrower of the Rural Utilities Service, which is the successor of the Rural Electrification Administration through the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Highline is eligible to participate in the Rural Economic Development Loan and Grant, or Red Leg program. Red Leg is really two distinct programs: the Rural Economic Development Loan Program and the Rural Economic Development Grant Program. The loan program allows us to borrow funds and reloan them to an ultimate recipient for economic development purposes. When the loan is repaid to Highline, we repay the USDA. The grant program functions the exact same way up until the point when the ultimate recipient repays the loan to Highline. Under the grant program, these funds remain at Highline and establish a revolving loan fund that can then be used to fund other economic development projects. Highline had two successful grant applications under the grant program to help fund the Crook Fire and Community Hall in 2007 and Melissa Memorial Hospital in Holyoke in 2006. We just completed our third successful application under the Red Leg program and will provide funding to the Main Street Clinic for the Haxton Hospital District. The result of these three projects together is a revolving loan fund with over $1 million available to fund local economic development projects. Today, there are 6 loans outstanding with a combined principal balance of $268,000. We now offer loans to our membership for the purpose of implementing energy efficiency improvements through the USDA's Rural Energy Savings Program. This program provides loan funds for a variety of energy efficiency upgrades, ranging from building envelope improvements to high efficiency appliances. Loan terms include interest rates as low as 3% and terms up to 10 years. Loan payments are added to your monthly electric bill. It is the goal of the program that the energy savings from the improvement more than offsets the amount of the loan payment. More information and loan applications are available on our website at www.hea.coop. Recent enhancement to Highline's beneficial electrification and efficiency rebate program include the addition of outdoor power equipment and electric vehicle charger installation rebates. The outdoor power equipment rebates are available for electric mowers, snow blowers, leaf blowers, chainsaws, pruners, trimmers, pressure washers, and bicycles, including a rebate of up to $1,000 for electric riding mowers. Another recent addition is a rebate of up to $375 for a highly efficient heat pump water heater. This rebate can be combined with available tax credits. On the operations side of the house, Highline utilizes over 175 miles of 69,000 volt transmission line to deliver power to several substations throughout our service territory. We are in the process of replacing a significant portion of this line, including 17 miles near Sterling. We are also planning to replace 7 miles of this high voltage line near Champion. Work on this replacement will take place over the next few years. Highline is not immune to the supply chain issues and inflationary pressures that are impacting everyone. Lead times have increased dramatically for almost everything we buy, from vehicles to poles and transformers. We are working with our material suppliers in an attempt to work through these challenges with minimal operational disruptions. We are taking steps to increase physical security at our facilities in response to recent copper thefts in the area and attacks on substations around the country. Initial steps include the installation of video surveillance equipment. Working together with Tri-State and the Colorado Energy Office as partners, we completed the installation of an electric vehicle DC charging station at the Wagon Wheel, Conoco, and Julesburg last year. Through the use of internal batteries, the charger connects to our grid as a 20 kW load and is then able to deliver a 150 kW charge to a vehicle. The technology reduces our wholesale power costs as well as the infrastructure investment needed to serve the charging station. Highline purchased our first all-electric fleet vehicle last year with the acquisition of a Ford Lightning pickup. The pickup has a range of 300 miles. It's here tonight, and we are more than happy to let you kick the tires and get behind the wheel of the Lightning. Probably later, not tonight, not in here. Call the office in Holyoke and ask for our Member Services Department if you're interested. The passage of the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, or IIJA, and the Inflation Reduction Act, or IRA, over the past few years has established a number of new grant programs and tax credits that Highline is eligible to apply for that can be used to upgrade our electric system. Highline staff has worked to identify funding streams within the IIJA and IRA and eligible infrastructure projects within our service territory. The National Rural Electric Cooperative Association, or NRECA, is our national organization, and they have been organizing cooperatives together across the country to apply for these grant programs. We have joined together with other co-ops through this partnership to submit grant applications to assist with the upgrade of our electric infrastructure, including reclosers, metering infrastructure, system operation software, transmission line replacements, and distribution line replacements. In addition to these grid upgrade projects, we are evaluating the feasibility and economic viability of distributed solar projects across our service territory. Between grant funds and loan forgiveness programs, distributed generation projects offer an economic opportunity. We are currently monitoring two important bills at the Colorado Legislature. The first of these bills would create a resource adequacy reporting requirement for any electric utility that serves meters within the state. Resource adequacy is an industry term that just means that as an electric utility, you have to complete the planning to ensure that you have the generation necessary to serve your load. This bill is necessary because not all load-serving entities in the state have a resource adequacy requirement today, and it would begin to level the playing field for those entities. This is especially concerning as one utility that fails to plan adequately can have a negative impact on the entire grid. Senate Bill 23-198 addresses a somewhat similar issue. This bill would set targets for all utilities in the state to meet greenhouse gas reductions in future years. I'm generally supportive of both bills, as they tend to extend requirements that have applied to Tri-State to other utilities in the state. There is always a risk, however, that one bad amendment could drastically change the intent and impact of the bill. I would just mention I had a conversation with Merlin And we're not as concerned with the Nebraska legislature because I don't think the Nebraska legislature has done anything this session yet. So they've been filibustered the entire session. So all the excitement is in Colorado right now. There continue to be a few lingering issues at Tri-State that have the potential to have a large impact on Tri-State and by extension Highline. Two of the biggest unresolved issues at Tri-State hinge on the outcome of two dockets at the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, or FERC. When Tri-State came under FERC regulation, they filed a process and a formula to calculate the termination payment that any Tri-State member would have to pay to exit their contract early. All of Tri-State's utility members have all requirements contracts with terms expiring in 2050. The methodology that Tri-State proposed to calculate this termination payment has been heavily contested and litigated at the Commission. A hearing was held in front of one of the Commission's administrative law judges who issued an opinion. Unfortunately, this interim decision left many questions unanswered. The Commission is expected to issue their final decision in this docket this year. Regardless of the outcome of the Commission's decision, it is likely that it will get appealed to the courts. This decision has the potential to have a large impact on Highline. If the ultimate decision allows members to exit Tri-State without paying a fair contract termination payment, it could result in upward rate pressure for Highline and the other remaining members of Tri-State. As of now, 3 Tri-State members have given the required 2-year notice of their intent to leave Tri-State. There's a second docket pending at FERC that would determine the buy-down payment amount that a member must pay if they wish to self-supply a portion of their load above the 5% self-supply limit that is allowed in the contract. This case, which poses the same risks to Highline and remaining members, will go to a hearing before an administrative law judge within the next few months. Each Tri-State member appointed a representative to serve on a rate design committee. This committee met monthly for over a year to thoroughly vet all of the components of Tri-State's rate to the members. The result of the committee's work was a rate recommendation that was made to the Tri-State Board. The Tri-State Board will review the recommendation from the committee for the next few months and ultimately submit a rate design to the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. This new rate will go into effect January of 2024. It is very likely that a handful of Tri-State's members will protest the rate design, resulting in what will ultimately be a multi-year process before the rate is finalized. The rate, as it is currently being considered, would be based on the 2024 budget. This, along with a few of the changes recommended by the Rate Design Committee, are likely to affect Highline's cost of wholesale power. I'd like to take just a few minutes to tie together some loose ends and give you my best guess as what I expect to happen with our rates over the next few years. You'll recall from Jim's financial report that Highline's wholesale cost of power was 72% of our expenses for 2022, which amounts to $40 million. Any wholesale rate increase is going to have an impact on our retail rates. You heard the term deferred revenue referred to earlier in this report. This is an accounting mechanism approved by our lenders that allows us to set revenue aside into an approved account in years when it is not needed to meet our mortgage covenants, then bring it back or recognize it in years when we don't have adequate revenue. We've utilized deferred revenue extensively over the last few years, resulting in $4.4 million set aside. The advantage of this process is that we can use it to offset upcoming rate increases. While it's too early to tell, it's possible that we could see a 10% rate increase from Tri-State next year due to the combination of the new rate design and general inflationary pressures. While 10% is possible, I believe that is a worst-case scenario. With the deferred revenue that we've accumulated, we can smooth the impact of that 10% rate increase if it comes and spread it out over several years. While the situation will continue to change and evolve, our projection right now is that we will need a 2% rate increase in 2024 after deferred revenue is utilized. We will keep you informed as we get more information on our future rates. This is our commitment to our members. It drives what we do as an organization every day. I would like to thank you for joining us this evening and would entertain any questions you may have. And if you're online, please submit questions via chat. Thank you. Are there any questions? You know, Mark, so the question was, what do I think rates are going to do long term? There's pressures both ways on that. We will be in an organized market in Colorado probably within the next 3 to 4 years, and the organized market will tend to have a stabilizing effect on rates. My concern in the long term is, as we move to more and more intermittent resources, at least in the short term, we're going to have to rely on natural gas to back that up. And the more we rely on natural gas, the more we're dependent upon the natural gas market. And that, more than anything, is the reason we see volatility in our rates, is volatility in the natural gas market. So I know that's not a great answer, but I think, you know, renewable resources are great sources of energy. The problem is they're intermittent resources, so you got to have some other technology to back them up. And depending on how we're able to back them up will have a lot to do with what drives our costs going forward. Yes? So I don't know if I can answer that directly, but I can give you some numbers, and Tad can help me out a little bit. So at our DC fast charger, we charge 25 cents per kilowatt hour. And at our level 2 in our parking lot, are we at the same rate there? 10 cents a kilowatt hour on our level 2 in our. So to convert that, I'd need a few minutes and a calculator to convert that to a per minute charge. But so we charge it based on the energy charge. Anything else? Well, thank you very much. Thank you for joining us tonight, and I'll ask Mike to come back to the podium to announce our scholarship winners.
Thank you, Dennis. This year, we have 5 categories of scholarships that Highline and Basin Electric and Tri-State are giving to the youth of this community. The first one is a $1,000 Basin Electric Member Cooperative Consumer Scholarship, and Amber Lambert of Sterling High School is going to receive that scholarship. Her parents are Tyson and Heather. Highline has 2 scholarships they give that are renewable. In other words, they can use them all 4 years of college, $1,000 a year. Ethan Sneller of Holyoke High School receives the first one, and his parents are not Shane and Amber, but Dustin and Rena, yeah. The first one I had. And there we go. No, I didn't give the parents. All right, we'll work through this. The second scholarship goes to Jack Wilkie of Otis High School, and his parents are Jordan and Jennifer. The next scholarship is a $1,000 one-time scholarship for a 4-year college or university. And Nolan Japp of Fleming High School received that scholarship. His parents are Nathan and Jessica. Callie Kirkwood of Fleming High School will also receive a $1,000 scholarship, and her parents are Randy and Jolene. Elise Krogmeyer of Holyoke High School will receive another $1,000 scholarship, and her parents are Ernie and Stephanie of Holyoke. Seth Merrick of Caliche High School will receive a $1,000 scholarship, and Seth's parents are Joe and Melissa. And we have $1,000 scholarship to 2-year colleges. The first recipient is Monty Cook of Merino High School, and Monty's parents are Tim and Lori. Kyra Hernandez of Caliche High School will also receive that $1,000 scholarship, and her parents are George and Rhonda. Anna Lockhart of Lone Star High School will receive the $1,000 2-year college scholarship, and the parents are Robert and Deborah. Lexi Schaefer of Fleming High School will receive a scholarship, and her parents are Damon and Ashley. And there are also 2 $500 Tri-State and Highline co-op together scholarships. And Tanner Girk of Caliche High School, parents Alan and Michelle, and Alyssa Locke of Haxton High School, parents are Brian and Michelle. That concludes the scholarships this year, and we really enjoy helping the kids out. Next on the agenda is the unfinished business. Does anyone have any unfinished business that they would like to bring up for the group? If there is no unfinished business, does anyone have any comments? Did they enjoy the meal? It was good, I thought. Was the cookie big enough? Yes. I want to thank you all for coming out tonight. The weather was pretty good, but like I said, the roads are kind of messy, and it's good to see you all here. Tad has a registration drawing to when you guys came in. When you sign your name for a little deal here, he's going to give us a $100 bill credit.
Good evening, everyone. I get the fun job of wrapping up and giving away a bunch of fun gifts. But before I do that, I want to recognize the Challengers 4-H Club. You probably saw them running around clearing tables and stuff tonight. I don't see any of them right now, but would they please stand up and we can give them a round of applause? Where are they? They left. I was going to ask them to come up here and help me draw the winner for the bill credit, but we'll go ahead and have Mike do it.
Yeah.
Drum roll, please. Mark L. Berry. All right. Okay, we'll apply that $100 bill credit to your next bill. Congratulations on that. And now we'll get into all this lovely gifts. I'm going to ask our board members to step up to our large table of sponsored gifts, and we'll get these going. We've got enough people up there ready to go. So our first gift is from Custom Business Solutions, who helped us send out all the mailings this year, and Novus Glass. We got a $25 gift card from Amazon and some glass cleaner. Winner is David Berner. Please stand up and right here. David. All right. Next one up, we got a case of Blue Guard grease and some glass cleaner. The glass cleaner is from Novus, of course, and the Blue Guard is from our friends at CHS. Robert Martin. You got him? You got him? Cool. All right, next one is this similar, a case of Blue Guard and some glass cleaner. Wilbur Davis. Do you see him leaving? It'll come back. Okay. Gift number 4. Whoever's holding on to number 4 should be a $50 gift card and some more glass cleaner. That $50 gift card is from TNR Electric. Winner, Anthony Helfer. All right, we're up. We got 3 gift cards coming up from Western United Electric and Novus Glass Cleaner. The first of those 3 gift cards, Robert Fetzer. Keep your hand up, Robert. All right, the next $50 gift card from Western United Electric goes to we need to be on number 6, which is a $50 gift card. Okay. There is a Hamilton Beach blender over there, people. Oh, Merlin's got the blender. That's going to go to Dean Walmsley. That's just a little out of order, but that's okay. So we'll see what the next one is. I'm hoping it's a $50 gift card. Nope. So we have a 6-pack beverage tote. Yep. And inside that is a stainless tumbler, and that came from Logo Store. Lovely. You got lucky. All right, so we got a speaker, a charging station, and a flashlight combo from Logo Store as well. Elwin Walter? Elwin? That should have number 16 on it. Yep. Next, we've got a $100 Visa gift card from our tree trimming crew, the Long Hair Tree Care crew. Richard Schell. All the way back. And another $100 gift card from Long Hair Tree Care. Jerry Verlek. You see him, Brad? All right, we've got a backpack with a Sherpa fleece throw. That came from Specialty Incentives. Lee Struckmeyer. You got him? Enjoy. All right, now we're back. We already gave away the Blue Guard. Yeah, we either with number 6 or number 20. Okay, so we're going to take a, are we giving the $50 gift card to Roger Kramer? Yes. Okay, Roger Kramer.
And then we're going to do 7 through.
Okay. We'll just go down the list. So the next one will be another $50 gift card from Western United Electric. Robert Bledsoe. Is the next another $50 Visa gift card from Bank of Colorado? Yes. Dewey Harmon. Dewey. Another $50 Visa gift card from Bank of Colorado to Russell Sprague. We have another $50 Visa gift card and some glass cleaner to William Nodder. Another $50 Visa gift card from Bank of Colorado, correct? Yes. Richard Lebsack. Right here, yep.
One more from Bank of Colorado.
We have another from Bank of Colorado. One more Visa gift card to Lynn Seeger. Lynn? You're on number 13? It's another $50 gift card from our tree trimmers, Long Hair Tree Care. Calvin Beal. Calvin right in the middle. Okay, so we have a smart thermostat with the C-wire power adapter from PCS, who's our computer solutions. Lucas Schlachter. You got the long walk. You got the long walk. Okay, getting your steps. Next up, we've got the Arlo video doorbell. Is that correct? Yep. So whoever is here from Burner Inc. Over here. Burner Inc. So we got the last two. We got a cordless blower. Larry Walters. Larry Walters? Yeah, we need you to come up and we get a picture with you of that one.
We can do it afterwards.
Yep, we can do it after. And second to last, the 65-inch TV, Mary Fulsher. Right here. So we'll have you guys come up and get some photos with that. That concludes the drawer prizes. We have one more drawing. This is for the entire membership for $2,500. Are we ready for that one? You guys ready for this one? I hope we give it away. Drum roll. Let's see it. Darren Kipp. Is there a Darren Kipp in the house? No? No? Oh, man. We tried. I know. All right, well, thanks for dealing with us through our technical difficulties, and I'm going to give it back to Mike. Thanks you all for coming.
I want to thank Tad and the member services crew for putting all this together. Thank the guys that are. And as the evening has moved along, that concludes this meeting, and I adjourn it. You guys that got the two prizes up front, want to take a picture if we could.